Hello viewers, thank you for joining me. I know I've mentioned before that I try to switch up what I watch from month to month, but I don't think that's ever been more obvious than going from Another to D-Frag. After a show that was constantly tense and dark, I needed something light and fun, and D-Frag definitely filled those requirements. D-Frag takes place at Fujo Academy, and Kenji Kazuma, our main protagonist, is the only sane person in the entire school. He's seen as a delinquent, but he and his little gang are out to make sure the school is running the way it should, which is what leads to their run-in with the Game Creation Club. It starts with the Kazuma gang berating them for playing with fireworks indoors, but the girls quickly turn the tables and subdue them. After a crazy chase through the school, they finally come to an agreement. The girls will release his friends if Kazuma will join their club. This is how he gets to know Roka, the tiny but fierce club president, Chitose, the student council president and Roka's best friend, Sakura, their fun-loving underclassman, and Miss Osawa, who spends most of her time napping and is so unenthusiastic about everything that Kazuma doesn't realize at first that she's the club's academic advisor and not another student. He soon finds out that the club was having some trouble recently. They were facing a deadline to get a fourth member for their club or else they'd be shut down. Now that that's solved, they can move on to the next problem, actually creating games. They really only have one, a board game, and like 5 different variations of it, about a bunch of crazy characters fighting each other for porn in space. Kazuma, who's one of those characters who screams the majority of his lines anytime he's surprised, can't understand how a club based around creating games can be at such a loss when it comes to actually creating games, and starts to wonder how their club came to be in the first place. But it's not long before he encounters Takao, another girl, who's determined to get their club shut down. As her efforts continue, he learns that she's the president of the real Game Creation Club, the original one. Takao and Roka used to be friends, but the club kind of fell apart after their falling out. They split up to revive the club in their own ways, and neither of the results is anything to brag about, really. And this is probably as good a time as any to talk about the characters. This is just the first of many challenges and crazy scenarios the club will face. Takao is hardly the main antagonist or anything. She challenges them to a game-off for the school festival, with the prize being that whichever club's exhibit attracts more customers will absorb the other club. But you realize pretty quickly that what she really misses is Roka's friendship. She's just too proud to say so. The festival ends without either club enacting that punishment, and Takao takes to lurking around their club meetings, supposedly just to keep an eye on them, but clearly because she wants to spend time with them all. In general, I thought all the characters were likable enough, though to be honest, we're only given minimal depth to really hold on to. Roka has a few moments where she talks about wanting to do right by her club as their leader, and we see that this club is the first time she's ever really fit in anywhere. Mostly, she just wants to make games that people love, so her heart's in the right place, even if she does have some dark, selfish moments. Chitose was the first one to really move me, which was definitely a surprise. She rules this school through a mixture of fear and respect, and she definitely doesn't have the passion for creating games that Roka does. But Kazuma learns that she was the real force behind getting this club started, after the original fell apart. She tells him that Roka is her best, and was her first, friend, and she just wants her to be happy, and I thought that was really sweet. One of, unfortunately, few genuinely sweet scenes. Kazuma, too, was likable enough. His honor code is a little warped in places, but he is honorable in a way, and a genuinely good person. All the shouting did get tiresome after a while. You'd think he'd stop getting caught off guard by every crazy little thing that happens around this group after a while. But I get it. He's just that character. He's got his role to play, and he plays it. I can't argue that. As a sort of side note, Takao makes a decent attempt at being a second sane person in this school. She just loses her head a little too easily for me to really buy it. Miss Osawa had the least screen time, but I laughed just about every time she was on screen. I just love how unenthusiastic she is about everything. Sort of along that limited screen time note, the Game Creation Club did have another member, but he only returns from time spent abroad about halfway through the series. Hachi Shio is the type of rich, pretty boy who knows exactly what kind of effect he has on the girls around school, but his heart's firmly set on Roka. Normally, that sort of character would get like an eye roll at best from me, but with nothing consistently deep or moving about anyone else, Shio is honestly probably my favorite character in the whole show. It feels weird to call him a comic relief character in a show where 90% of things is just one joke being thrown at you after another, but I can definitively say that he made me laugh more than any other character. D-Frag's over-the-top sense of humor just suits Shio particularly well. Which leaves us with Sakura, the only one I really have a critique for. It took quite a while even to come up with that simple description for her when I first introduced the characters. I'm pretty sure you don't learn a single thing about her throughout the entire series. I can only think of one scene she gets near the end that feels like it should be a moment for her, but her entire speech is about Kazuma and how he's not actually a bad guy. I mean, I'm not asking for much. This show didn't stay serious long enough for me to really get attached to anyone, but everyone else at least had a few good down-to-earth moments. On the heels of that, the story is pretty non-existent. Takao's challenge is just the first. After her, every 2 or 3 episodes, there's someone else demanding they shut the club down and challenging them to something with that at stake, for whatever reason, or in Shio's case, right to possession of Roka's gym bag. And every step of the way, we get to see it reaffirmed that everything is just ridiculous. Like, the most intimidating gang in the school gain their reputation by taking over all the rhythm games at the local arcade. And that part's not the critique, it was a lot of fun. D-Frag made me laugh a lot in general. I did enjoy it, but there were definitely places the story could have gone, and it's kind of disappointing that they didn't even try for a bigger storyline. The mini-stories got a little repetitive by the end. There's kind of a love triangle subplot running through most of it. Roka and Takao both develop crushes on Kazuma, but it never amounts to anything. The possibilities just get to me. They could have been tasked with creating a game to impress the teachers. That could have been the big threat to their club. I think it would have been cool if the show had actually focused on that game-making aspect a little more. You know, the thing their club is based around. Or they could have gone the friendship route. Though I think they both know there are no hard feelings, nothing is really resolved between Takao and Roka. The only time anyone suggests one club absorbing the other, it's as a punishment for the losing team, but I don't think that would have been a bad ending, if the two had reconciled their differences and formed one big game creation club at the end. I hate to end this on critiques, because I really did enjoy D-Frag. I was looking for something light and fun, and it definitely delivered on that. It made me laugh a lot. I loved the over-the-topness of it all. It's just hard for me to turn off that critical part of my brain saying that it could have been even better, and just have fun with it. I think for exactly that reason, I watch a lot of heavier, complicated shows, which I know aren't for everyone. If you're looking for something lighter that you can watch a little more casually, I'd definitely suggest this one. D-Frag didn't feel groundbreaking in any way to me. It's not the best club-based anime out there, or the best friendship story, or even the funniest comedy, but it was perfectly enjoyable in its own right. Thank you for watching.